Hello, Juan Toledano. Muy buenas. ¿Qué tal? Well, all right. I'm a little bit late, but as it tends to happen from time to time, I had um, to update my graphic cards drives because the streaming program didn't work. So yeah, took me some time, but here we are. So all right, I will be speaking a little bit low because I'm in daddy duties with Lord Commander Dante. So I might get interrupted from time to time. We'll see. Fingers crossed. But yeah, it might happen, and I will have to go and check it out. So yes, let's continue with our brother Cavill of the Blood Angels. Um, so yeah, we'll see. How has it been your week? Anything interesting happened? Have you done anything interesting or worth mentioning? Have you been painting anything cool? So I think this illustration it's almost done. I would have to say. Jenna Tool, hello, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I remember we were doing this guy last time. Finishing here this Marine on the background. Right, before we continue with the stream, let's see. Should I do this? No, maybe not. Patrick, sad no on the painting. It's a little time. I'm not sure I understand what you just wrote. That you didn't have time to paint anything? Well, if that's the case, too bad. I've been painting all the time. My life is such. Well, now I'm completely recovered, so there will be no more coughing. I might get a little bit dry throat, perhaps, but yeah. Well, I now that I see the sword is very much work in progress. We'll have to do something about that. Let's put a little bit of damage here. I don't like my Space Marines to be shiny and spotless. I like them to be stained and scarred and have some damage, visible damage on the armor and weaponry, just to show that they are not parading, but they are actually in some business. But yeah, now I'm totally recovered. But to be honest, it has taken me quite some time. I normally never get sick, but I got this present from my son, and yeah, been struggling with this strong cold. I know now. I know it wasn't COVID, but it was a very strong cold, and I was until the day before yesterday still not totally fine. Hello, Amana. Hello, welcome. How are you doing? Nice to see you around again. Patrick, yes, I was just answering your first question. Okay, okay, good. Thank you, thank you. Chibi, hello, how are you doing? Well, I'm fine. As I was explaining, just recovered from being sick for quite some time. Nothing serious, but very annoying. But now I'm fine and working quite a lot. So, yeah, pretty good. How about you? Have you seen anything interesting or cool? The thing is that these days I'm barely seeing or watching anything because, to be honest, any spare time I do have, I'm spending it just checking on the war on Ukraine. I'm completely absorbed by it, and it's starting to affect me. I think I need to have some entertainment that kind of um, take me away from that true grim reality. This kind of wear and tear pass. It's always some of the things that I enjoy the most because I don't have to think much, but it's always very fun to details to add. Um, by the way, Juan Toledano, have you checked finally Nausicaa? I just remembered that uh, we talked about it on Instagram. As I was saying there, it's quite different from the impression that I could have given on that illustration, but still is an absolute masterpiece. I think, especially the comics. I mean, the film I really like, but the comic books are especially cool because they go in much length and yeah, it's one of the things that I enjoyed the most is, and I enjoyed in some comic artists, and is when they draw without any, how could I explain it, when they draw with any pretense, it it shows like very genuine type of drawing, in the sense that it feels very natural and without any type of trying to be cool or to show off in some way. So it's very to the point and simple, but so powerful narratively speaking. And for example, Miyazaki, in these the Nausicaa books, I think there is a lot of that that I really enjoy. And it's a little bit the same thing that I find with Moebius and all his work. And for example, the one that is an absolute masterpiece, the Incal, I think is the same type of feeling where it's very genuine type of work with any type of pretense. I don't know if I'm struggling to to really explain what I mean, and I'm not sure if I'm being if I'm managing to explain what I mean. But it's not trying to. Yeah, I think the best way perhaps to put it is just to show off, like, yeah, look at how good of a drawer I am, or it just focus on the story, and that means that sometimes the it's not drawings that are very pretentious, but they are still has some quality to it that it's very genuine and meaningful. It's like they draw as if they don't care. That's how I could put it. They don't care, and I absolutely adore that. And of course, I'm speaking only in terms of the art of the drawings, because then the story is super cool. But the inspiration that I got for that illustration, why I mentioned the Nausicaa, is because there is like this tale of ancient times in that world where there were some god machine like robots of destruction that destroyed the earth. So that's the part that inspired me for that illustration. So that's the only part. So for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, it's about an illustration, an old illustration that I posted recently on Instagram, um, where you can see a very War One looking soldier in the front, in the forefront, and on the background there is like the silhouette of a giant robot being destroyed with some kind of lake of fire or lava. Um, uh, Samari, do you like cartoons? Final Space, Netflix, it's awesome. I haven't seen Final Space, but yeah, I do like cartoons. As a matter of fact, I started my professional career as a traditional animator, working on animated films. So yes, I do like it a lot. Um, the the only thing that I miss, and now thankfully is changing slowly, is that a lack of real animated films for adults. Um, but that thankfully is changing. So most of it's normally directed for children, and I like that as well. But yeah, animation is awesome, and I think it could be exploited to do things even more creative than just what we are used to. Or that is mainstream. I think, for instance, a good example of that is the latest Oscar for the best animated short film. I think that's a fantastic example of what I mean. Uh, if you haven't seen it, I totally recommend it. It's fantastic. It's a kind of special short, but still it's animated, and yeah, it's more adult type of filmmaking, and I like that. The same thing that they started to do with on Netflix with Love, Death and Robots and things like that, right? But yeah, to your question, yes, I like it a lot. Hampus, hi Miguel. Will you do one-to-one lecture after your Space Marine painting videos are out? If I need the help, uh, this drawing looks amazing. Well, thanks. Thank you. That is very kind. Well, none. No, I'm not planning to do anything of that sort. I would love to be honest, because I love teaching. Uh, on the note, side note, um, the 17th of this month, so in a week, start the new term for my course at CGMA. The course called Narrative Illustration and Characters. So if you are interested, you know, new term start the 17th of this month in 1 week. All right. So yeah, to your question, I love teaching. So yeah, that's something that I would definitely enjoy. But sadly, I don't have the time. I'm extremely busy with lots of things. And now that finally I'm this close to release the tutorial of how to paint Space Marines. I cannot believe it's almost done. I'm halfway of the last episode. So finally, I will be able to put a lot of time with my personal projects about space pirates and with the Patreon and everything. And it's been 5 years in the making to get to this point, so I can finally start doing it. And I cannot wait to do it, and I will not yeah, I want to focus on it, and I don't want to spend time doing other things than that. Of course, I will be doing things for YouTube and here streaming, etc., etc. But and of course, client work, because I still need to pay my bills. But thankfully, if the Patreon goes decently enough, I will be able at least to afford a little bit of time to free some time away from client work to work on my projects. And yeah, so I will be spending most of that spare time doing that instead. So sadly, no one-on-ones. But of course, I will be more than happy. Sorry, I will be more than happy to answer any questions, doubts, and anything during the stream. That definitely is possible, and I will be more than happy to do so. But oh, I cannot wait. Seriously, guys, I cannot. I don't know how to describe how relieved I am of getting this close to being finished with the damn tutorial. And I mean, to be honest, it's not that I'm doing like 1,000 hours of content, but it's quite a decent amount of content. But doing this type of videos and tutorials takes time, and again, going back to this recurrent theme of me not having time to do this, it meant that I had to stretch the whole process during, now it's gonna be a year and a half, which is crazy if you think about it. So yeah, I think it will be at the end the total amount of time of the whole tutorial series, putting all the episodes together, is gonna be around 3 hours of content, I think. And it's gonna be 4 episodes. I think 3 or 3.5 hours, which is not to be honest, I think it's not that bad considering that it's gonna be for free. So and I had a lot of fun doing it, don't get me wrong, but it's just that it has taken such a long time that at the end it's yeah. I'm happy to be done with it. Patrick, I think what you are referring to is the quality of illustrations made to express story or idea, rather than to express the skills of the creator. Both of can be great, but often feel different. Yes, exactly. Yeah, going back to the comic book artist. Yes, exactly. So the main focus is the story, and the drawings are there. It's just a tool to tell that story. So you can see that there is no focus on making the drawing the protagonists of the to take protagonism on the experience, but it's the story. And so the result is that you get a very fluent and meaningful type of drawing where it's very genuine. Yeah, I don't think I can put it better than this. And don't get me wrong. I mean, there are plenty of other comic books where you can obviously see that the the artist that is doing the art for it puts a lot of focus into the composition. You know, each frame, each vignette, and and I appreciate that quite a lot as well. Um, so, so the story, sometimes in some comic books, the story is not the main focus, but might be on the same level than the art in terms of protagonism. and and you can see that sometimes with certain comic books where the story is not that special, but the art is so good that you read it for the art and not so much for the story. The story is an excuse, kind of to display that good art. But sometimes it's the other way around, and of course, well, still having very skillful drawers, like in this case Moebius or Miyazaki. So there is absolutely no complaint in that regard. Still super skillful, but that skill is focused and driven to tell a story. So yeah, but yeah, very well explained with fewer words. Hello, Amana. Have you ever heard or read Berserk? It's very grim, dark, and the art it's amazing. Yes, yes, I know about it. I haven't read it. I saw an adaptation made in animation, anime, and I liked it. Um, I didn't like too much the style, to be honest, but I still enjoyed it quite a lot. And yeah, like you're saying, very, very dark. see. Mm, mm, mm. um, for gods, these art it's coming along since I seen it last. Well, yeah, I don't know when you saw it last, but yeah, I've been dragging it along for for a very long time. Again, going back to this problem of lack of time. I wish I could have finished it a long time ago, but yeah, engage in too many things at the same time. Hampus, glad to hear. Well, I will keep you to that promise. No problem. I remember you made a tease of it about 3 years ago. About what? About the about the uh, about my personal project about space pirates. It could be perfectly be the case since this it's something that I'm being engaged with for 5 years now. Even though it's been most of the time planning and doing research. But yeah, I'm so excited about it, guys. You have no idea. And one of the things that I'm really, really looking forward is to kind of dive deep into it and having the absolute creative freedom to do what I feel it's needed and is doing my thing and and have absolute control, creative control over it. And having spent so much time um, working for others and doing other people's projects and being all the time uh, focused on visualizing or putting in uh, reality the vision of other people. It, it it can be very tiring to some degree, and if you have like some um, creative vision as I have, I really really have the need to do something. I would be very unhappy if the only thing that I would do creatively would be just working for other people's vision. So I do that for a living, but at the same time, I need to have something of my own. So that's why I always, despite of working this, I always been doing my own things, but in a very limited way, right? So now this is a very, very ambitious project, and one that I'm fully committed, and I believe it is genuinely is an awesome project, and with the potential um, to be great. And I feel I'm confident that plenty of people will enjoy it. I just need to do it. Just do it. Like if it was that easy. uh, and one absolute um, main pillar for this project is it's very grim, dark, very dark, and mature. So that's something very important for me. Beep, 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 beep. Bueno, a ver. The sword. We need to do something with the sword. Um, this, I know I'm doing completely straight. But man, what I'm going to be talking about in the coming streams once I once I release the tutorial. It's been such a recurrent subject of talk in the stream for such a long time that I don't know what I'm gonna be talking about. Samari, it sounds great. By the way, amazing work like always. Thank you, thank you. Lucius, hey man, how are you doing? Was missing you already. I imagine releasing those tutorials will be a cathartic experience for you. Yes, it is gonna be. I would go even farther than that. I would say orgasmic. uh, yes. Is it? Yeah. And no matter how it goes, regardless if you guys like it or not, I'm not. I don't care. I'm gonna be so happy that is that I'm done with it. But I have to say, advice in advance that don't expect some sort of how do you say a tutorial where I give you some magic formula, right? Because most now that I have a little bit more like the whole thing just put together, most of the tutorial I go through the type of things you need to think about when painting or trying to draw space marine. So it's not so much uh, a tutorial where we look at the technical side of things, even though still there are certain things that I go a little bit more technical, but for the most part, it's about showing you the right mindset, how to think, the type of things to have in consideration, and to pay attention. Uh, so yeah, that's more or less the type of of tutorial that you would that you are to expect. And you will see also that there are disclaimers all over the place on the tutorial, because at the end of the day, everything that I'm talking about is just my opinion and nothing else. And of course, there is plenty of people that would disagree with some of the things that I say or show. It's at the end, it's a matter of artistic vision, but but it is nevertheless my opinion, and yeah, so it's very subjective in that regard. Um, Hampus, for this painting, do you use a lot of references picture? Maybe a pure ref or something alike you can show us? Thinking about any glow for the power sword, you just said grimdark though, so maybe you don't want one at all. Well, I mean, for a painting like this, um, I don't use much references. If anything, I can look at some illustrations, official illustrations, to look at a little bit type of blood angels. How do you say, type of decorations on their armors, and kind of to look a little bit for the style and stuff of that kind, or for heraldry, for example, like here, but not much, to be honest. I mean, it depend. Like I say it quite a lot. It depends quite a lot of what I'm doing, right? So if it's something that I'm very familiar with, like for example a space marine, I normally don't use many references because I'm pretty. I know I'm very how do you say, familiar with them, right? So it's just about specifics. If let's say, well, I'm I'm not that into the Black Templars, for example. So in order to see exactly their style and iconographies and stuff like that, I will look at official illustrations and miniatures for those type of details, and things of that kind. Now, if I'm doing some concept or illustration of a topic where I'm not that familiar with, then I will use tons of references to to use to know and to guide me. Um, and yeah, about the glow, yes, yes, yes. I have to put yes, I'm planning to add some disruption feel on the blade. All right, let's do that now. Um, Lucius, we will have to talk about Space Pirates after the Space Marine tutorial launch. Yes, but with a caveat because since I'm planning to, or my goal or would be just to support the process, the creation process of the project through Patreon. I want to keep most uh, of everything related to the project only through Patreon, to be to make it meaningful for people that want to support the project. So I guess that I would mention certain things, but I would keep most of it just for Patreons only. Unfortunately, because again it's something that I'm super passionate about, this project, and I will be talking hours about the research that I'm doing about real pirates to 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 ground the whole thing into real piracy, and things of that kind, and yeah, to talk about the that this universe, and I mean, it is. I truly believe it's amazing. So yeah, I will love to do it, but I, to be fair, for hopefully those that may decide to help out and be part of the of the creative process through Patreon, then I will have to keep it just exclusive for Patreon. And I don't know if I've mentioned these already. I will talk in length about the vision for it when I get started with it. But my plan is to, with the Patreon, is to really make people involved with the Patreon truly um, um, to make them truly part of the creative process and involved into the whole creative process. So it is not going to be just about sharing work in progress, as you can see in a lot of Patreon pages, but the people that contribute on Patreon will be in a very deep way contributing to to the whole process. Um, I mean, part is something that I still haven't talked about it, and I still not gonna go in length. But uh, part of the vision for this project is a certain deductive aspect to it. So it's not just about the creation of this new universe, but it's about also teaching and showing the creative process of world building and the creation of new IPs. Um, so I completely lost my line of thoughts. uh, so yeah, so I would be also for the patrons. I would be explaining a lot of the process itself, and not only explain but make you part of the process as well, and part of the universe as well. So yeah, you will see. I have designed a whole tier of patronage with pretty cool stuff. Yes, now I really hope that enough people will find it interesting enough to jump in and be part of the process. Wait, Dante is calling. Yeah, 1 second. We'll be back. Right. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, lately Dante's having a lot of um, how do you say, screaming and crying during the night. So yeah, it's taking quite a lot of a toll on us with a lack of sleep. But yeah, what we're talking about, yeah, about my space pirates project. So I would say, if you like um, the theme of pirates, of course. If you like science fiction, if you like Warhammer 40,000, if you like Game of Thrones, if you like diesel punk genre, if you like to some degree even Star Wars, like tangentially, if you like The Expanse, you will like a lot this project. If you are into um, character design and spaceships and vehicle design, you'll like this. Mm, 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 mm. Will be nice to add a little bit of uh, reflection of glow. Sorry, from of the sword around some parts of the armor. Let's try to add that. I think that's a little bit too much, perhaps. I mean, it should be kind of subtle, so it as you can see, I mean, all these type of things that I'm doing now is just kind of s- small details that are not that important, but can add a little bit of flavor to the piece. And the thing is, it's very easy to get it taken along with it, and suddenly something that was supposed to be quite subtle becomes like super all over the place. And that's kind of where I see I'm heading. And I want it to be quite subtle. So I will have to just turn it down a little. Uh, Chibiversity. Well, we can talk about Space Marine, maybe. Yes. Juan Toledano, I'm painting a Space Marine 2 in this moment. Ooh, nice. Please do share on the Discord server. Again, even though sometime lately I'm not that active, but I see everything, and I like everything that you guys are posting. I really do. Well, I think it's the moment of truth. I need to flip the whole thing. I just hope there is no big things. Well, just to begin with, already I see this that I don't like this at all. And why? Because it's too close to the shape of the short sword or knife or whatever you want to call it, and parallel to it. So it's very disturbing. So I need just to remove that. And those type of things are pretty often invisible until you flip the image. So that's why I insist quite often, and I think I will mention it quite uh, often on the on the Space Marine tutorial about flipping. Um, okay, we have a little bug with Photoshop. Just let me reopen the file. We'll change here the again, like I always want to explain. I don't want to have opened the sharing this screen while I'm opening files, because Photoshop shows recent files, and of course I have a lot of NDA work that would show there, so I don't want to show that, of course. So that is why. Okay, where were we? Yes, here. And I have so many layers, and I'm hating it. I'm hating it, guys. I don't know um, if we have talked about layers during the stream, uh, but I normally like to have as fewer layers as possible. But for some reason, I don't have it in this piece, and I'm hating it. Um, but going back to the mm, my space pirate project, um, I've been able to do some few things here and there, and I cannot state enough how joyful it is to spend time with it. If to get a little bit of a taste of a little bit of yeah, a little taste of what to expect. If you have seen, for example, the post that I have uploaded on Instagram today or yesterday about a series that I did a while back, based on a challenge that I made up for myself, about making a character, one character a day. um, I decided to do like a lot of space pirates, and then to write us. I mean, some of them are, others are not, but many are, and to do some kind of backstory for them. So I did that challenge and those characters and everything for many different reasons. Um, but one of them was as well to do a little bit of experiment into thinking about my project. So it was like a little bit like a test in terms of if that kind of vision uh, could work for my project. And even though the style and the type of characters are going to be pretty different, um, because again, I did that challenge for trying to achieve many different things, but still, there are certain things there that I think will be kind of similar in my project. So, like looking at through the stories of different characters, that will be like a small narrative window into the world. Um, yeah, so it's small snippets of that world through the short stories of of the characters, etc., etc. Among many other things, of course, but and for instance, some of some of those the short stories that I wrote for those characters, um, I really liked some of those ideas quite a lot. So I think I will be reusing them for my project. By the way, so at some point you might, if you've been following all these things and you decide to join the crew during the projects on Patreon, you might recognize some things. Well, to be honest, I think this is almost done. I think I will give it some days to rest. Um, uh, but I feel that this is done. I don't think it's worth it to spend much more time with it. What do you think, guys? And be honest, if you think there is something that is not working or you have any constructed feedback, please do share. Of course, now we would enter another part of the whole thing, and it's just now I need to find a way to contact Mr. Cavill. I will have to go back to some of the suggestions you guys made a while back for getting him to to see this, so I can send him the high resolution copy so he can have a print of it. Of course, when it's totally done and I post it, I would be super, super um, um, happy if and thankful if you could help me to spread the word and make as much noise as possible, so uh, Mr. Cavill get a chance to notice this. Okay, Dante's will be back. All right, I'm back. Cantabrian, hey man, how are you doing? Man, again, fantastic. The work with the Sister of Battle. Fantastic work. Juan Toledano, I was wondering how a blade guard can look in the Iron Hands chapter with less of a chivalric looking. The blade guards have, so I decided. Well, I don't know, but I mean that's one of the cool things about the different themes and and aesthetics of different Space Marine chapters, right? So you can they have different feels to it. So the the Iron Hands have a more industrial look to everything and more, I would say, towards cybernetics and more sci-fi in that sense. I think, but I don't know. I would have to look into it because I'm not that familiar either. So going back to uh, some of your questions, guys, about I will have to do that myself. I will have to go into looking a lot of references, for instance. just to be sure that I'm being faithful to the to the chapter that I'm trying to illustrate. Pontus, there is a hole, so you see the sky through the lower leg part in his armor. Here, yeah, I know. Yeah, thanks. It's just that um, I like to leave some parts a little bit like sketched as such. So I like if sometimes there is certain bleed of colors and the background through the figures and stuff like that. It's more like a aesthetic choice. Of course, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe here it doesn't. I don't know. But yeah, thanks. I was just wondering if I want to add a small detail here or not. Some skulls or something. Well, guys, I think that's gonna be it for today's stream. I'm sorry that I started a little bit late, but again, I had this technical issue and I had um, to how do you say to upload new drivers for my graphic card because of the streaming program didn't work. That took away some time of the stream, but yeah, I'm not sleeping much these days thanks to Lord Commander Dante. So I need to. Uh, I have a very limited time for the stream, unfortunately. So yeah, I think I'm mostly done with it. As I said, I will just leave it to rest for some days before I just give the very final pass with some fresher eyes. But I think I will not spend more time with it during the stream. I will have to think what to do next stream. If maybe I start with the idea that we discussed last week about this um, Russian themed illustration, or maybe going with the idea of these grim, dark, sequential illustrations of Warhammer fan art. Or maybe take some of the old illustrations we started doing the stream and never finished. Perhaps, I don't know. We'll see. But I think this is gonna be the last time I work with Mr. Cavill during the stream. All right. Have a good one. Thanks for joining once again. Have a fantastic week. Paint a lot, draw a lot, and I'm pretty confident that next week I will have good news regarding the tutorial. So hopefully I think I will be done with everything next week. So yeah. Anyway, have a good one. Thanks a lot for joining, and see you next week. Same day, same time here. Have a good one. Bye bye. Bye bye. I cannot speak. My goodness. Bye.